Am I the a-hole for not telling my father about my GF, her race, before she got pregnant because my GF didn't want to? Since I was a kid, being Hispanic and on the whiter side, my family always talked down about black people. My family always taught me to improve the race and many of the eugenics lessons to be accepted by the Hispanic elite. The more closer to Spain you are, the better according to my family. That is until I went to university, and being honest, when I met my GF, she was so beautiful that I forgot about all that. I just wanted to dance with her and get to know her. Her being a black woman would be a big issue for my family, so I explained this to her, and she wanted to at least date to see if this relationship is worth facing that crap. Things got a little fast and she got pregnant, and this is when my GF decided that it can't be hidden from my family at least. I respected her wish to not want to confront my racist family, but maybe it wasn't the best idea. My father was smacked with the news that my GF is black and his grandchild will be mixed, and he almost passed out. This man cried and made me feel like crap. It made me feel like I did something sick and perverted, like hurting a child. I know maybe we didn't tackle this the best, so I'm conflicted as well.
So why is she still inserting herself into the family? She's not really his daughter, she didn't grow up with him. She's not my daughter's sister. She's just some random person who happens to share some DNA with them. Fucking false. She is inserting herself into her family she was robbed from for 30 years. She is his daughter, she is your daughter's sister. She isn't a random person. What a giant asshole. I sure hope she's gotten the jealous stick out of her ass. Honestly, when I see shit like that, I always wonder how they'd react if, God forbid, their child needed a kidney or bone marrow transplant. Would they ask the not really family member to see if they were a match? What does she want from him? To know her father. For her children to know their grandfather and aunts are out there. It bothers me that he had a child with someone else over 30 years ago. I don't know how long OOP and her husband have been married, but it doesn't seem like he cheated. It seems as if it happened before they met. Especially since it seems as if her daughters are underage. You are definitely the ta. What the actual hell? You don't like it that your husband had a life and an experience before he ever met you? Wah. You don't get to choose her family, and you don't get to say that your daughters aren't her sisters. They are, whether you like it or not. Put yourself in this poor girl's shoes. She found her father, discovered she has family, and is able to share the family she created with them. You should fall off your high horse and be the bigger person and welcome her whether you want to or not. If the shoe was on the other foot, I guarantee you would expect everyone to accept your kid. Stop acting like a selfish jerk and let her be a part of her family. And maybe look up compassion, because you seem to not know what it is. Wow. This could be posted by my father's wife. Word by word. I never knew my father and finally got in contact with him when I was 32 yo. I just wanted to get to know him. I never wanted anything except for getting to know him and his other son. I grew up with only my mother, no brothers or sisters. After a few months my stepmother told my father that he wasn't allowed to talk with me anymore. If he did, she would divorce him and take everything. He told me on my answering machine. We never spoke again. I know my younger half-brother live in the same city as me now. He's also an only child. It's a sad situation. It was just a case on paternity court yesterday whereby a mom waited until her daughter was an adult to bring her to meet the man she told her was her bio dad, only to find the man had died. They were in court for the paternity test because the man's mother was terminally ill and just wanted to know if she had another granddaughter. It's not just OOP's husband and his daughter that are affected by this, it's the rest of dad's family as well. And OOP's daughters should be allowed to know their sister as well.
Story 2. Am I the a-hole for pretending to spend time with my sister? I, 22 female, have a younger sister, Marley, 20 female. We've never been close as sisters, and we are mutually disinterested in spending time with one another. This fact drives my dad, 53 male, and my mom, 51 female, insane because they believe sisters should be BFFs and super close like mom is with her sister, my aunt. It's just not the case for me and Marley. As children, we didn't get along. As teenagers, we didn't get along. And surprise, surprise, as adults, we don't get along. I don't hate Marley or anything, but we just don't enjoy spending time with one another, and we never have. Obviously, we've tolerated each other because we're sisters, but there is no friendship there, and neither of us are interested in developing a friendship because we've tried before at our parents' request and it's always failed miserably. Marley and I are just on opposite ends of the spectrum where it comes to personality and interests like oil and water. Since we're both currently studying in university, different campuses but only like an hour apart, our mom and dad have been pressuring us to spend time together. We both have our own friends and we don't have any desire to spend time together. But trying to explain this to our parents is like talking to a wall. As always, they are obsessed with the idea of Marley and I being BFFs. And even though we're both away from home, they're as adamant as ever to push us closer together. So Marley and I have been telling lies. We've been coordinating our lies and telling our parents that we've been video calling each other, meeting up with each other, watching movies together, etc. It's all bull crap, but it's mainly to keep mom and dad off our backs. Our parents have been completely overjoyed to hear we're finally spending quality time with each other. In truth, I haven't seen Marley since Christmas last year, and until recently, we haven't been caught in a lie. Except yesterday, Marley screwed up with what she said to our parents, and we were caught in the lie. We both apologized, but told our parents we had our own friends and didn't want to spend time together. Again, it fell off deaf ears, and we received a huge lecture from Dad about how family should be close and how as sisters we should be best friends and spending time with each other. Marley spoke up and told Mom and Dad she didn't care about me at all. I told my parents I didn't care about Marley either, and we shouldn't be forced to be friends if we don't care for each other. Note, this may be the one thing Marley and I agree on. Mom cried and said she didn't understand how sisters born from the same parents could hate each other so much. We don't hate each other, just no interest in friendship, and told us we were both horrible people that would one day regret that we didn't bond with each other. We also got a lot of hate from Dad for lying for so long about spending time with each other when we didn't and we were just lying.
NTA. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's not like you two are going spy vs. spy on each other and trying to kill each other every chance you get. Maybe your mom should spend more time with her sister, appreciating the relationship she has with her that she seems to think so highly of, rather than lecturing you about doing so. Maybe then she would have less time to nag you two on and stop stressing herself out so much. Does your dad have a sister? Maybe he should take his own advice and go hang out with her, since being BFFs with your sister is so important. And if not, then woe's he to say it's so important. At the end of the day, it's your guys' lives. You can't force yourselves to hang out just to appease your parents. That would be unfair to the two of you. NTA, look mom and dad, you forced our hand and made us make up a story to get you off our backs. At least we came together for that, but you not allowing us to grow and be our own people have probably driven a wedge between us that will never be overcome now. Without your constant berating and interference, it is likely that we would have grown to be more of a support structure for each other over the years. As it is, because of you, we will most likely forever try and avoid each other. In that, you have failed us completely. NTA doesn't mean you don't care about her or hate her, you just don't have much in common and don't vibe with each other. I mean just like you won't be friends with all your classmates, it's the same here. I mean I've tried being friends with some of my classmates, but we just didn't click. Doesn't mean I dislike them, I just don't enjoy their company. Same for you, I'm guessing you'd be sad if something happened to her, you just don't feel the need to hang out with her. And that's fine. My sister is 12 years older, we talk and we get along fine, I love my nieces. But I don't go out with her or her friends or tell her everything. NTA parents need to stop expecting their children to be mini versions of themselves. They need to understand that what holds true for them, mom and her sister for example, does not mean it has to or will hold true for others. I think it might be a good idea for mom to go into counseling. It might be a good idea for you and sis to go to individual counselors to learn some techniques for dealing with your parents. I understand the aggravation. I have two sibs and our dad has often said you boys should be best friends. Unlike you though, I do have a bit to do with my sibs, though what I have had to drive home recently to dad is there is a certain amount of time in a given day for me to get done all of my shit and the same with those two. Lol, NTA. My parents were the same way and kinda still are to an extent about me and my sister. But she's your sister, you're supposed to love her. She looks up to you, we're 16 months apart. When we're dead she's all you're gonna have left and you'll regret it. You guys used to get along so well when we were 4. Me and her are on good terms but have zero interest in buying friends. We have the same friend group but don't usually engage with each other and just keep it cordial. We're total opposites for the most part. She's a girly girl who loves to buy plushies and be all cutesy. And while I still like to paint my nails and do makeup and whatnot, I'm more of a tomboy. I love classic cars, fixin' things, longboarding etc. Luckily my parents have started to come around and realize we aren't gonna listen, but we still hear the odd but your sisters. No dude, NTA and your parents are weird. I don't blame you both for lying, but the better option is for you both to be a unified front, much like your parents were with you growing up, I'm sure. Both of you make the decision to ignore them or disengage with them anytime they bring it up. Anytime either one of you is on the phone with them or in person with them, the minute they bring up you guys spending time together, you shut it down. Say once, we already discussed this. Marley and I are in agreement that we mutually do not care to spend time with each other. That is our decision to make. If you choose to discuss this further I will hang up or walk away until you can respect our decision. They either respect you two's decision as adults, or they don't get to spend time with either one of you if that's what they choose to discuss and focus on. End of story. Why NTA or your sister? I have a sister, well I love because we're family, we don't really like each other. My parents used to push us to be friends, even though we were opposites apart and lived in different cities. My sister and I came up with a plan. We both told them, at different times, that she was pregnant with a drug dealer's baby, twins, and that I was going to prison for assaulting elderly people and robbing them, and that I was secretly married to a sex offender. They were both so upset, my dad yelled, and my mom cried. Then, we both came to visit them and said, sorry, we're not spending time together as friends, but my parents said that was unimportant, and why didn't we focus on having good lives? That's when we told them the truth and they were so relieved that we were their good daughters that they stopped bugging us to be friends. Cruel? Yes. But it got them to back off.
Am I the a-hole for telling my friend that my GF won't stop coming around? I have this female friend for a few years. We're close but not best friends. We occasionally hang out, but she's not the person I'd call when I go through a hard time. That's pretty much our friendship. Sometimes I get a feeling that she thinks our friendship is deeper, that it really is, and it feels one-sided, so I always try to be honest of my wills and intentions with her. I never saw her in a romantic way. I never planned on hooking up with her. I don't even consider her one of my closest friends. Few months ago, I met a girl and we started chatting and enjoying each other's company. We weren't in a relationship, but we were casually dating at first with no commitment. When I mentioned this to my friends, they urged me to do something. Except that girlfriend I mentioned who didn't seem too happy. She pulled me to the side at one point and told me, so to make this clear, I don't care if you get a GF, I'm happy for you. But if we hang out with the rest of the group and they're with their partners, please tell me you won't always bring your own GF around. I won't feel comfortable third wheeling for all of you. I said that's not reasonable, and why would I not bring my GF so she won't feel lonely? Anyway, eventually I got with this girl. I didn't always bring her around my outings with my friends except when other partners were also present. My friend kept giving me tantrums for prioritizing my GF over her. She also brought up an old joke about her and I getting married in the future and how my GF should get in line. After one of her tantrums yesterday, I told her to suck it up at some point because my GF won't stop coming around when other partners are around too. She calls me TA for being a shitty friend and not taking her discomfort and feelings into consideration.
NTA. This girl seems to think you are in some kind of relationship. I don't know what else you can do, but sit her down, with a witness, maybe another friend, but not your girlfriend, and tell her again, as simply and plainly as possible, that you do not see her as anything but a friend, and will never see her as anything but a friend. That you will bring your girlfriend to group hangouts meetups, and she needs to learn to accept it or you will no longer be friends with her. It honestly sounds like she is obsessed with you, so you should be careful and try to never be alone with her. Also, it's probably best to do a slow fade on this friendship. I am getting very fatal attraction vibes from this. NTA, it's your friend's job to manage her emotions. You're allowed to bring your GF to wherever it's appropriate, if others are too, why shouldn't you? Don't engage with this or fall into the trap of arguing about it. She is being unreasonable. Also, if you haven't already, let your GF know about what's happening. It'll ensure that your GF doesn't hear from someone else, or even worse, a comment from your offended friend, and think something more could be going on there. If you're worried about it being an issue in the future, and you can't avoid your friend creating a drama, maybe just drop her a message before you bring your GF to events. Not to check if it's okay, just to tell her this is happening. That way she can make up her mind if she wants to come in third wheel. It's not at all your responsibility to do this, and you're not an asshole if you don't, but it might just avoid a drama which could spoil any fun you're having with your other friends. And I think she's using the joke as a toxic way to keep testing the waters and be manipulative. She's throwing it out there to see if OP will shed any light on where his head is with her or the girlfriend, so that she can further twist things to her benefit. She will also be the one that cries it's just a joke when OP tells her it's not funny to him anymore and doesn't like it. She's going to try to make him feel like it's his problem. She plays games by saying he's too sensitive or she didn't mean it like that. Classic toxic person to be around. OP, you're NTA at this point, but she's made it very clear that she regards you as her property and you're supposed to be playing happy couple with her. If I were you, I'd tell her one last time that your GF is and should be your priority, and that of course you'll bring your GF if other people bring their partners. That's the point of a partner's night. If she doesn't want to be a third wheel, she needs to bring a date along herself and not just you. To be clear though, when she joked about you getting married and your actual GF needing to get in line, she wasn't joking. She was serious. That's how she really feels. If I were you, I'd just cut her off at this point, but I'm older and can't be bothered with the drama. My bullshit tolerance is on the floor nowadays. She calls me tough for being a shitty friend and not taking her discomfort and feelings into consideration. Let's break this down. Why does she feel uncomfortable? She doesn't want to feel like the odd one out. That's a valid wish, but the feeling won't go away just because you leave your GF at home. That's a feeling that's inside her that she has to address. People grow, they enter relationships, and naturally those relationships become important. That's a natural part of life for a lot of people, and it's wrong to want your friends to miss out on a natural part of life. What feelings is she having? Your friend feels deprioritized. Which in a way, she was. You have a new obligation that you didn't have. She has lost her unmitigated access to you. But again, this is natural. Whether it comes from romantic intentions or not, what your friend is asking is for you to remain stagnant in your life. And you are firmly NTA for saying no to that. NTA, I'd tell friend straight and direct, look, Annie is me girlfriend and I'm going to be inviting her to hang out with my friends because she's a part of my life. There's no discussion needed about this topic as the choice is mine and mine alone, just as you can decide to bring someone you're spending time with. I want it to be perfectly clear about this. Our friendship is strictly platonic and for you to imply otherwise would be misleading. I've been upfront with you and now I need to know you understand that. Annie is my GF, you're my friend. It sounds harsh but having been in the female friend's shoes you need her to understand your friendship lines clear as day. Now, one thing to really make sure before you say anything is make sure that your side of the street is clean. Did you ever flirt with her in a way that could lead her on? Did you two have a relationship where being cuddly but not sexy occur? Was there a time at any point where you knew she liked you? She clearly does and you didn't discourage that. Because if you did you're going to be the bad guy here. If you didn't, you're in the clear. NTA sounds like this friend wants more from you that you clearly aren't interested in. I'd tell her if it makes her uncomfortable then she shouldn't come. I've been with my husband and if he had a friend that did that, I wouldn't have handled it well. My ex did that and well, he's my ex. His friend constantly had similar things to say, then eventually tried to pick me apart and it caused a physical fight between she and I. After that I told him I was done, I was not going to continue to fight his friends just to be with him. I told him clearly she wants to be more with you and I'm not dealing with someone he's never even been with treating me like less than because he wasn't spending time with her and their friends. We were all in same circle and I never had an issue with her before that. The same girl caused issues for him and his now wife. I still stayed a part of our mutual friend circle and I just told him one day, she's going to continue to cause issues for you no matter who you're with, so pick a side. He finally chose and ended up married 2 years later. That girl is no longer part of the same circle because of the issues she caused. And that happened about 10 years ago. Our group of friends were 18 to 25 at the time, now we're in our 20-30s, and most of us still friends.